Hey everyone! So you've seen it, right? Classrooms today are just packed with tablets, smartboards, all kinds of cool new apps. And the promise of all that tech is massive, but there's this weird gap. A gap between having all this technology and what students are actually learning. Let's dig into that.
I mean, this is the million-dollar question, isn't it? It's what keeps teachers and principals up at night. The students look like they're totally locked in, they're having fun, tapping and swiping away, but when the grades come out, nothing's changed. So what are we all missing here?
Let's look at a super common example. Meet Mr. Santos. His science students absolutely love this new educational game on their tablets. Engagement through the roof. But fast forward 3 months and their test scores, they're totally flat. So all that fun, all that engagement, it's just not translating into actual learning.
You know, Mr. Santos's problem has a name. We can call it the tech engagement problem. And believe me, it is everywhere. But here's the good news. There's a really powerful framework that helps us understand exactly why this happens, and, even better, how we can start to fix it.
And here's the kicker. The answer isn't just buying newer, shinier tech, and it is absolutely not about asking our teachers to work any harder than they already do. The missing ingredient, it's a very specific and kind of special type of knowledge.
And that brings us to something called the TPACK Framework. Now, that's a mouthful, I know. It stands for Technological, Pedagogical, and Content Knowledge. It was developed way back in 2006 by 2 researchers, Mishra and Kohler, and it breaks down everything a great modern teacher needs to know into 3 core areas.
Okay, first up, you have content knowledge. We'll call it CK. This is the bedrock, right? It's knowing your stuff, inside and out. It's the history teacher who knows the full timeline of the French Revolution, or the biology teacher who genuinely understands genetics. It's simple, you just can't teach what you don't know.
Next, we have pedagogical knowledge, or PK. This is the art and science of teaching itself. It's all about how you teach, knowing how to explain something in 5 different ways, how to ask questions that really make students think, how to manage a classroom so learning can actually happen. This is the craft.
And that third circle is technological knowledge, TK. This is basically your comfort level with the tools. Can you run a Google Classroom? Can you put together a presentation? And, do you know what to do when the projector inevitably stops working? It's about being competent and confident with tech. Okay, so having these 3 things separately is a fantastic start, but it's not the whole story. The real power of the TPACK framework, the place where the magic actually happens, is in the overlaps, where these 3 circles intersect. This is where it gets really interesting.
Let's look at the first intersection. PCK, Pedagogical Content Knowledge. Honestly, this is the signature of a great teacher, even way before computers were in classrooms. It's knowing that your students are going to struggle with the concept of fractions, so you bring in pizza slices to make it click. It's that beautiful blend of what you're teaching and how you teach it.
Now this next overlap is so cool. It's TCK, or Technological Content Knowledge. This is about knowing how a specific tool can actually transform the content itself. It's realizing that a 3D virtual frog dissection app isn't just a gimmick. It lets students see anatomy in a way that's literally impossible with a picture in a textbook. The tool changes how you can experience the content.
And our third intersection is TPK, Technological Pedagogical Knowledge. This is all about how technology can change your teaching strategies. So it's not just about using Zoom, it's about knowing you can use Zoom's breakout rooms to pull off a small group discussion strategy that would be way harder in a big, noisy classroom. The technology enables a specific teaching move.
So, when you bring all 3 of these things together, the content, the pedagogy, and the technology, and you do it in a really thoughtful, purposeful way, well, that's when you land right in the center of the framework. That is the TPACK sweet spot. That's the goal.
Okay, let's see what this looks like in action. Imagine an 8th grade science teacher. She knows photosynthesis inside and out, including the common things students get wrong. That's her content knowledge. She also knows her students learn best when they can see and do things for themselves. That's her pedagogical knowledge. And she's comfortable using a cool science simulation tool, her technological knowledge. So she combines them. She has the students use the simulation to mess with the variables, like light and CO2, and then she pauses to ask them questions and correct their ideas right there in the moment. That is perfect TPACK.
All right, now that we've got the model down, let's use it as a kind of diagnostic tool. Let's look at a couple of common teacher profiles that I'm willing to bet you'll recognize.
So first up, let's meet Ms. Garcia. We'll call her the tech enthusiast. She loves all the latest tools, Kahoot games, collaborative documents, you name it. Her class is always fun and buzzing with activity. But you hear her students say things like this. They're not really sure why they're doing what they're doing.
So if we look at Ms. Garcia through that TPACK lens, we see she's really strong in technology and how to use it for teaching methods. But the tech isn't really connected to the deep learning goals of the content. The what they're supposed to be learning is getting lost in the fun of the tool. She's missing that full TPACK integration.
And then, on the complete other end of the spectrum, you've got Mr. Reyes, the content expert. He's a veteran physics teacher, a brilliant lecturer. He can explain anything, but he sees all this new tech as just gimmicks. He's sticking with his classic lectures.
Now, Mr. Reyes is an absolute master of content and pedagogy. His PCK is off the charts. But his discomfort with technology means he's missing out on some huge opportunities. A simple physics simulation could make his already amazing explanations unforgettable for his students, but that gap in his technology is holding him back. So after going through all this, what's the big idea? What are the main things we really need to remember from the TPACK framework?
It really boils down to 4 key things. First, and this is the big one, technology by itself is not a magic wand for learning. Second, the real power is in the intersections, how the content, the teaching, and the tool all work together. Third, this isn't something you either have or you don't. TPACK is a skill you can actively build and get better at. And finally, there's no one-size-fits-all answer. The right approach is always going to depend on your students, your subject, and what you're trying to achieve.
And that kind of leaves us with one final question to think about for ourselves. Whether you're a teacher, an administrator, or a student, whatever your role is, take a second and think about your own skill set. Of these 3 areas, content, pedagogy, or technology, which one needs a little more of your attention right now?